What is going on, TU crew? Welcome back to another episode of the Totally Unqualified Podcast. This is episode 80. We reached another milestone today, and we have a great episode for you guys planned out today. But if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll know you're not seeing a pretty face, the pretty face of Gage Halls. I have to break the news to you guys. Gage has ligma. Gage has ligma, and it's not good. It's not good, Jake. How are we doing tonight?
What's ligma?
Ligma? What is
What
is ligma? What is ligma? Yeah. So obviously, without our producer in office today, Gage, we're just gonna shoot the shit a little bit. We don't have anything planned out. It's another one of those unscripted episodes. Great start. But
this could either go really well or really poorly.
Yeah, really well. But there's a bunch of good stuff to talk about. I, of course, missed the last episode, so I'm glad to be back on here. Jake, you were a little sunburnt, but other than that, how are you? How are you doing?
Not just a little, pretty damn bad. It sucks. Like it really sucks just being pale as a ghost. I mean, it sucks too because I'm 50% Sicilian. And if you've seen Sicilians get dark. Like they get dark. My dad gets freaking dark in the summer. Like he does not burn. He just straight up tans. But I got the fucking Irish skin, which sucks so much. It could have been 50-50, had to get the Irish skin. I have a theory though, that if I burn through the Irish skin enough, maybe I'll get to the Sicilian skin.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. It hasn't been like wrong so far. Like
the Sicilian skin's just hiding underneath.
It's hiding really well. It's like hide and go seek champion right now. No, I could barely move my neck. This is gonna suck for like a week. Going to sleep tonight is gonna be oh my god.
That's never what anybody thinks about. No. Is having to lay on that. Like
oh my god. Worst. I got through the shower. The shower was tough, but I got through it. So yeah, I just gotta keep applying aloe like every 10 minutes, and we'll hope for the best. So pray for me today.
In some pain.
Yeah, it's definitely a pain.
Yeah.
Now as my dog comes downstairs. Oh, both my dogs. But yeah, we're gonna have a good episode.
Absolutely.
Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Gage isn't here. Unfortunately, Gage not feeling well, but yeah, there's a ton of shit to talk about. Like it's such like a weird point in the off season, but it's crazy. There's a lot of topics. We got a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. A lot of stuff. I mean, baseball, Yankees are going off. The Rangers going to game 6, bringing it back. There's a lot of stuff going on, but of course we're going to start off with guess that player. You know what? Let's not do a timer today. Whatever.
Yeah, fuck the timer.
It's one of those episodes where we're just going to throw everything out the window. We're going to go berserk for you guys. So whenever you're ready, Jake, I have them pulled up. You're good to go.
All right. You want me to guess?
Yeah.
Okay. NFL. All right.
Oh, NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. AFC, NFC.
AFC.
Okay. AFC West.
Nope.
AFC East.
Nope.
AFC North.
Yep.
Okay. Bengals.
No.
Browns.
No.
Steelers.
No.
Ravens. Offense, defense.
Offense.
Okay. Rashad Bateman. There it is.
Wow. Was that just the easiest one ever?
No, I think I just narrowed it down really quick.
Why don't we do that actually? Yeah. Why?
How much? We must bullshit a lot during our.
We do bullshit a lot.
That
was real quick and easy.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman.
I didn't get to it quickly either. Like AFC North was the last one, I guess. Ravens was the last one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got
that. We're getting better.
We are.
In episode 80, we're doing great.
We're finally catching our stride. It just took 80 episodes.
Yes, finally. All right. So let's get into some sports talk, shall we? Yeah. Today was a big day in the NFL, as seemingly every single day of the year is, because they have to be the talk of the world year round. It is the NFL 2022 schedule release. Happened earlier today. All 32 teams schedules came out. So Jake, I'll just start with you. Who else am I going to fucking start with? Why don't you bring me through the Seahawks schedule a little bit? Tell me how you're feeling about that week 1 game.
Oh my
I know
God.
That one, they're ripping the Band-Aid right off.
Yeah. I think they know the Seahawks are going to suck. So they kind of wanted to get that. That was going to be the most interesting game on their schedule. That nationally, like obviously Seahawks fans are going to tune in for when Bobby Wagner comes home and we play the Rams twice. But that probably won't have as much national attention as the Russell Wilson game will. Yeah. The fact that they're just sticking that on us week one, like they're not even letting us get adjusted to Drew Lock. Like they're like, no. Drew Lock, we're throw him at Russell Wilson right now. Like we're not giving you any time to warm up.
I have a question though. Is this a Drew Lock revenge game or is it a Russell Wilson revenge game?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Listen, some news came out today that Russ maybe won't even have a very talented receiver on his team as the Jerry Jeudy news came out.
Oh yeah.
Which is not, I think we'll probably talk about that a little later,
yeah.
But, that game, the fact that they threw that on us week one just kind of tells me that they wanted to get the one primetime game. I mean, Seahawks have 2 primetime games this year. If you don't count the one in Germany, which I'm not.
Yeah, I don't count it.
Yeah, no, it's prime time because
prime time is not 9 a.m.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's not prime time.
From the textbook definition of prime time, I guess it's prime time, but it's not. It's not. I'm gonna wake up. I'm not even gonna wake up to that.
You'll wake up in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
And the fact that it's against the Bucks just makes me extra like not care about like being there for the start of that game. But yeah, that game is obviously going to draw the most eyeballs of any Seahawks game this year. And it is kind of cool that they're doing it week one. I was kind of insulted that they put that week one. When I first saw it, I was like, fuck, they're just throwing us right into it. Like they're just shoving it right in our face, right to start the season. But it's kind of nice. Start this in a year, the Seahawks probably aren't going to be that relevant. It's nice to have that start the season with a little bit of relevancy, with a little bit of the national media talking about us. That's my dog. Jesus. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Who's going to play better, Russ or Drew Lock? I'm leaning on the side of Drew Lock. Obviously, there's a chance that Russ, new team, new system. I know he's going to be there in training camp. They're going to get adjusted that way preseason, but like, regular season's different. Like there's a chance Russ doesn't play like that well. Like maybe he has 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Like that's not a great game, but that's realistic. Like I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I want to see how he fits in that system, how he works there. Seems like he loves it there so far. Drew Lock, he hasn't even solidified the spot here yet, which I don't expect him to. Geno Smith is the front runner right now because he knows the system. It's not even like once they get to training camp, they'll definitely change.
Will you be a little disappointed though if Geno Smith is your starter?
Absolutely, 100%. I am perfectly okay because I feel like stop having quarterback competition for Drew Lock. Just let Drew Lock go out there and do his thing. If he sucks, he sucks. Leave him in because then we're getting a better pick next year in a much better quarterback class. Like we literally cannot lose in this situation. Drew Lock plays well, guess what? We might have our franchise quarterback because we all know he has that kind of potential. Like that is there.
Oh yeah.
If he plays like shit, great. We got a great pick next year. We can get a franchise quarterback. So this is a win-win situation. Don't fuck it up by playing Geno Smith and going 7-10. Like
you don't want to be one of those middle of the pack teams.
No, absolutely not. That is the worst case scenario. Like if we're a middle of the pack team with Drew Lock, I'm fine with that because at least we probably saw some good things out of Drew Lock to get to that middle of the pack. Yeah. With Geno Smith, there's no winning there. There's no we're gonna win some games, but there's no benefit to that. So
and looking at the schedule, like it's pretty brutal. I gotta be like, just the whole division is really good. First off, the division is really good. Then you look at some of these other out of conference teams.
We're actually starting off. They were kind of generous to us with the first 3 weeks after the Broncos game.
Yeah.
So week 2, San Francisco's going to be starting Trey Lance. From all reports, Trey Lance not looking great.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the 49ers not being.
Yeah, they're not all that. Like they're not. Defense is still good.
Defense and they're really well coached too.
Yeah, they have really well coached. Running game.
They're gonna be a wild card team.
Actually, that's actually a nice test for our run defense because I've been saying I've looked at this front seven, and if you look at the depth chart for our front seven, you're kind of that's that's a pretty good front. So that's a solid front seven right there. Like they should be a lot better against the run. So I'm excited. I'm actually kind of excited for that to see, because there's no better run team in football than San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan's a wizard with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go let my dog up in a second. She's just gonna keep barking until somebody lets her out. But yeah, so I'm interested to see that. Then they gift us the Falcons and the Lions week 3 and 4.
Those are winnable, 100% winnable
games.
Yes.
Winnable games. I expect the Falcons game to be a little bit tougher just because of Mariota. I trust Mariota more than I trust Jared Goff, obviously, to have a good game. But yeah, I mean, the start of the season excites me. There's some drama there. There's some winnable games. It's probably the best start to the season I could have asked for, honestly. Got the Broncos game out of the way, get that drama in there, get some tests for our run defense, and then have some winnable games. Really like that. And then it just gets hell. And then
it does get pretty rough. Does the NFL do tribute videos? Because I know the NBA does. I don't think they did one. Did they do one for Tom Brady? I can't remember. Like in the stadium.
England?
Yeah. I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to do one for Russ.
They have to. I don't know if they'll show it. I don't think they might not have showed the New England video.
Yeah. That's why
on the broadcast.
Yeah.
That's usually,
and also I just didn't know, because there was some bad blood between Brady and the Patriots towards the end of their career. So
yeah.
Obviously they're not going to do the same thing as with Russ and the Seahawks, because there's no bad blood there at all.
No, from Seahawks Twitter though, fans are not happy. They're not happy. I love Russ. I thought I was an outlier because listen, I love Russ. I will support him till the end, but I kind of hope we kick his ass. It's just me. Yeah. That's just me. And that it seems like Seahawks Twitter seems to feel that way too. So I'm glad I'm not alone in that boat. Because there is an aspect of he kind of did give up on us. He kind of did.
Yeah.
He did kind of want to leave. And I understand. I understand it. I get it. I see it from his perspective, but I don't know. Just as a Seahawks fan, you kind of, I don't know.
Do you feel because obviously I don't really expect the Seahawks to be too good this year.
Yeah.
So would you rather have that game later on in the season, so it gives you something to look forward to almost?
Yeah, I think I would, but I understand why the NFL put it there, because
that's going to draw ratings.
Yeah, it is. It is. You want to start the season out strong. It's probably going to be the most. You want to draw national eyeballs to the Seahawks, because week 1, the Seahawks, people are going to be watching the Seahawks and be like, you know what? Let's see. That's people are probably interested in watching the Seahawks week 1 just to see how it looks without Russ. And that's probably going to be the only week people are interested in watching the Seahawks. So that's kind of the best time to get that Broncos game out of the way, and just kind of pile on to people's interest in seeing, the Seahawks without Russ for the first time since 2011.
Yeah.
But so I understand why the NFL did it. As a Seahawks fan, I would have liked to see it later in the season and let Drew Lock get comfortable in the offense, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's going to be a rough season. I'm not, if we get, I don't know what to hope for. If Drew Lock is starting, then to me, I can just ride the roller coaster of the season. That, as long as he is guaranteed start, then we're good. Like I said, win-win situation. If it's Geno Smith, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Because then it's just, then we got to hope we suck.
Yeah.
So, I have no expectations going into the season. The only thing I'm hoping for is that we could go, 0-17. But if Drew Lock looks good, and hopefully if he looks good, that doesn't lead to us going 0-17. I'm happy. So I'm excited for this year. I'm excited. It's something new for me. And, I got into football when Russ was a rookie. So I haven't seen a Seahawks team without Russell Wilson. So this is new for me. This is uncharted territory. And it's, schedule release day. It's one of those things where you're like, oh shit, this is NFL is not
nonstop.
Training camp's not that far away. Like
Yeah.
it's almost there. OTAs are coming up.
Yeah, just like what, 2 months?
Yeah.
July.
I got excited today.
Mhm.
For schedule release. You know, they just had rookie minicamp. I've been watching some of
Mhm.
those press conferences, some of those highlights. Apparently Boye Mafe looks really good. So that's good to see. Charles Cross the tackles look really good. I don't know if I want to say I'm excited for the Seahawks this year, but I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued by this team.
Something different.
Different. Yeah.
Now, last question I have for the Seahawks. Like, so you said you think they're gonna have a tribute for Russ. Are they gonna have a tribute for Bobby Wagner week 18?
I see, that's the question. Is week 18 when he comes to Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they will.
Okay.
They have to. It's just a matter. They'll 100%. I would put my entire life savings on it. They will have a tribute video played before the game in the stadium.
Okay. It probably just won't be shown.
Whether it's shown on national TV or, I mean, the week 18 game obviously isn't going to be on national TV, but whether it's shown on the broadcast, I would imagine the Russell Wilson one is. Bobby Wagner one, maybe not. But they're 100% going to have videos for them. I think they might show the Russ one on TV, because that's also going to be the first time. Exactly.
Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, they're going to have a whole new thing for ESPN.
Yep. There's a ton of storylines there, I guess. Well, that game. Okay. So the Russ game is Monday Night Football. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I was just thinking in my head, like, all of these commentators that have moved, we're moving into like a different era of the NFL, I think. And it's kind of
Al Michaels is the one that gets me. Like, that guy, I thought he'd be with, I don't know. I just thought Al Michaels would never freaking leave. Like, he's the voice of Sunday Night Football.
It's going to be weird. Like,
it's going to be weird.
Amazon Prime Video, like, get out.
Yeah, that's stupid. And then Joe Buck is like, Joe Buck has been Fox Sports. Like, it's been Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. So I do like that they're staying together. Yeah. I think Joe Buck gets too much shit.
I agreed.
Yeah. Like he's actually a pretty funny guy. I've seen some interviews that Pardon My Take has done with him, and he's a good guy.
I mean, pissing in a cup during or in a bottle during his calls.
He's actually pretty funny. So that made me hate him a lot less, but just not only that, but kind of moving to the baseball side of things. Like, Joe Buck has called the World Series forever.
Yes.
Like, that's
ESPN doesn't get baseball games, do they? I don't think so.
They do every once in a while. They have picked it up. They had the did they have the Field of Dreams game? No,
I don't think so.
That was Fox.
Yeah. Joe Buck was on that call, wasn't he?
Yes, Joe Buck was on that game. Yeah, like, Joe Buck has done these, like, he grew up in baseball. Like, his dad was a very famous baseball announcer. So he's just not going to be calling baseball games now. Like, it
is crazy.
Strictly football. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird, but good for him. I mean, he got the bag.
Got to get the bag. Got to get the bag. Everybody's in pursuit of the bag.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll talk about my Packers schedule a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, does it really matter, or does the schedule after week 18 matter? Like, which one's the one that matters?
I don't know, because I don't know how this Packers team is going to look without Devontae Adams, because he was the majority of our offense.
True.
It's going to be some big changes. We're going to have to see a lot of guys step up. I'm not looking forward to our week 1 game. We're at Minnesota. We were at Minnesota week 1 in the 2020 season, and I thought we were going to lose that one, and we ended up blowing them out, which was crazy.
Yep.
I'm not looking forward to this game, because I genuinely think the Vikings are in a good spot right now. I think their secondary is still a little weak, but they did draft a bunch of people. Lewis Cine, to sort of replace the guys that they had there. Maybe Lewis Cine becomes the next Harrison Smith. Who knows? But this Vikings team is still really good.
Yep.
I can't deny it. They have the best skill position players in the division right now, between Justin Jefferson, Adam
arguably
Thielen.
in football. Arguably.
Yeah, with Dalvin Cook and all of that. I mean, Justin Jefferson's probably a top 4 receiver in the game right now. And Adam Thielen, Pro Bowler. So, but after that, it gets a little better. We have the Bears, our annual ass kicking of the Bears on Sunday Night Football But I love how this game is always on Sunday Night Football every year.
Why?
It's always on. Like they're like, yeah, you don't like, because I guess the Bears are still a big market because it's Chicago.
Yeah,
and you know, they overplay this longest rivalry of all time because it really just over the past 20 years, it has not been much of a rivalry. I mean, the Bears have had great seasons, don't get me wrong, but really hasn't. And then we get the fucking Tampa, excuse my language. We get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 3, which this to me seems like 2020 all over again. When we had the Bucs pretty early on in the season and we got blown out. And we're at Tampa again. Don't love that. Then we get 3 straight home games because we have our London game sandwich in there. We got Patriots home, then we got the Giants, and then the Jets the next week. So towards the middle of the season, we have a stretch of games where definitely winnable. We got Giants, Jets, and Commanders right back to back.
Yep.
And then the game I'm most interested in, the game right before Halloween, October 30th, Sunday night, Packers at Bills. I will be at that game. Awesome. I've already said it in my mind. I was just waiting for the schedule to be released, and finally we got the night game. It's going to be at Buffalo. Packers have never won at Buffalo in their history. And I just off, the bat, don't think we're going to win this year because the Bills might just be the best team in football this year. Yeah. And then later down the line, we got Lions, Cowboys. That's going to be a fun one. I want to go to another game at Lambeau. I don't want to go to a playoff game because that was a little too much. I mean, I'd love to go to a playoff game, but I just don't want to pay to go to a playoff game. So that would be a lot. I do want to make a trip out to Lambeau like once a year. I want to make that my goal. So I'm looking at these games towards the later half of the year because I need to do it during, winter break. And who do we got? The Los Angeles Rams coming to Lambeau Field on Monday Night Football. I will hopefully be at that game as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm trying. I have an owner. I gotta be.
That's true. You got to be there. You got to be there for the team. You got to be there for the team. You got to sit in the owner suite. You got to evaluate, see how things are going, see if you got to make some moves.
Yep. And absolutely. If I go to this Packers Bills game, which I don't expect the Packers to actually win, I really don't. Okay. And then I go to the Rams game and the Packers lose again. Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to a Packers game because it might be me. It might be bad luck.
That's true.
Although I went to the Giants Packers game a few years ago and they, but they're the Giants. So I don't really.
Giants. Yeah.
I mean, it's like playing JV football pretty much. So
basically
I'd expect nothing less.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then we also have the Dolphins on Christmas Day. Again, we have another Christmas Day game, which is interesting because
that'll be a fun game. Actually, that's going to be a fun game.
Yeah. The Dolphins are really fun this year. Yeah. It really just depends on how Tua develops with, this chip on his shoulder now that he has Tyreek Hill and all of these, skill players that he didn't have prior. So Tua's gonna have to take it. Yeah, let's transition. Let's transition here to Tua for a second because we don't have a script. We're just shooting this shit.
We can transition all we want.
Yeah. Well, there's no rules. Come on. No. Tua has to have a good year this year. Yeah, because Tua was previously, obviously, Joe Burrow had just the craziest season in NCAA history. Beforehand, Tua was being talked about as going number 1 overall, being the first quarterback taken in that draft class.
Tank for Tua.
Tank for Tua was the thing. Then obviously he's dealing with the back injuries coming into the draft, and that was cause for concern. But this is the year that Tua has to take the next step. I know there was a lot of controversy in that organization with Brian Flores and his whole not wanting to tank games, and then they're winning games and a whole bunch of stuff going on in Miami. But this is Tua's year to really take that next step forward. And does he do it? I don't know. But just thinking logically, I don't know how well he and Tyreek Hill are gonna mesh. Because Tyreek Hill is used to Patrick Mahomes throwing him deep, long balls where he doesn't have to turn around for the ball. He just catches it right in his hands. And now you're looking at an offense with Tua at the helm where you're not really going vertically anymore. You're more so moving horizontally and taking drags down the field. So it's going to be an adjustment for both those guys, I think.
Yeah. Not only that, it's going to be a primarily running team.
Yes.
It's the Kyle Shanahan system. It's Mike McDaniels coming from Kyle Shanahan. He was his offense coordinator over there. And it's going to be a primarily running team with a quarterback that can't throw downfield. He can throw downfield. He's just not got the biggest arm in the world. With a guy who's the fastest guy in the league. It's just a lot of pieces that seem to not fit together. I mean, the running game and Tua seem to fit together really nicely.
Yeah.
I think that'll make Tua, like, this is a make or break year for Tua.
It is.
It would be really shocking to me if he broke, because he's got everything working for him. Like he's got really good receivers now. Really doesn't have an excuse there. He's got an emerging tight end, Mike Gesicki, who's been really good. The running backs, I guess, have been the issue there. They're kind of like patching it up. Like they just brought in from the Cardinals. Who is it?
Why can't I think of his name?
You know,
Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds
from the Cardinals.
They brought in Raheem Mostert as well.
Raheem Mostert, that's probably the biggest addition if he can stay healthy.
I mean, Myles Gaskin and they just brought in, who'd they just bring in like just the other day?
They did just bring in somebody the other day.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah. They just keep collecting running backs though.
This crazy Mike. I keep wanting to call him Mike Shanahan.
McDaniel.
Yeah, it's Mike McDaniel.
Sony
Michel. It was Sony
Michel. Michel.
That's a hell of a running back room.
It is.
Myles Gaskin might not even make the team.
Probably won't.
Or make. I don't know, because they have Salvon. I can't pronounce his name. Salvon Ahmed. Yeah. Or I think it's Ahmed. I think it's Ahmed.
Ahmed.
I feel like I feel like it's Ahmed. He was pretty solid for them as well.
It's good backup.
That's gonna be it's just gonna be a dynamic team, dynamic offense. Yeah. Probably something what we haven't seen before. Maybe it'll be more like Kyle Shanahan's offense in San Francisco. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that either. It's the defense is really good too. We gotta give the defense some credit. It's not gonna be a Brian Flores defense, but it's gonna be solid. All right. But yeah, Miami, it's Tua. There's no way he fails this year. The running game is going to help him out too much. He's got his weapons are too good. I can see Tua having a very, like, you're going to look at Tua's stats after the season and go, oh, okay. Like, you're not going to be like blown away, but like, you're going to be like, oh, Tua threw 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Like, okay. That's a good year. I think that's how Tua. I think that's what the feel of this year for Tua is going to be. If he has a bad year, like he's a backup quarterback in the NFL. Like there's too many things going for him. He's going to have a system where the pressure is not on him at all. They got to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo not having to like make any big plays. Like Jimmy Garoppolo had to make one throw. They relied on him to make one throw in the Super Bowl to win the game. He couldn't do it. Like
threw eight times in the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
8.
Like 8. Yep. So I can't see this as a year that breaks Tua, but I don't know. Miami's going to be fun to watch. Tua, he's going to be the person that everybody's going to be looking at. And I think he's going to have a solid year. I just don't think Tua is ever going to be this generational talent that we thought he would be coming out of college.
Okay.
The injuries have hurt him too much. But even before that, like his arm has never really been that good. And it's hard. Like you look at the guys in NFL history, best quarterbacks in NFL history, most of them have some of the best arms in NFL history. Like the only ones that really didn't are like Joe Montana, Peyton Manning,
Drew Brees, I guess towards the end of his career.
Drew Brees towards the end.
He did have
Drew Brees had more of an arm earlier in his career, but like he's in that discussion. There's really only a handful. So arm strength's important. Like you really like Joe Burrow's the first guy in a while that's actually kind of looked like he could be a generational talent without having that kind of arm. Like Trevor Lawrence had that arm. Kyler Murray has that arm.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson has that arm. Justin Herbert. I can go on and on and on. All these guys have strong arms. Tua, he never really had that. There's just no generational talent there. I think this is probably the year that starts his career as a solid, good, not going to lose you games type of quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. People have won Super Bowls with less. So
yeah, just don't be the reason that they lose games.
Exactly. And that can come back to bite you in the ass. I mean, you look at Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is like the definition of that. He's not gonna lose you games, but he's almost aggressively conservative. Like that's I don't know if that makes sense, but do you like it's an oxymoron, but like
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what I mean. Like that's Teddy Bridgewater. If I remember last year, Teddy Bridgewater like threw a deep ball in week 1 and like NFL, like I wonder if they had their social media team like ready to go. Like if Teddy Bridgewater throws a deep ball and completes it, like post that shit. Like just make sure.
Have it ready.
I want that shit out in 30 seconds.
It's like an eclipse. You don't see it every, you only see it once in a while.
And like, if you look at the throw, like it's a nice throw. It's a 30-yard normal NFL pass. Like it's accurate and stuff. But like, I looked at this and I was like, if this is like Matt Ryan, like this shit does not get posted. Like this is, it was purely because if that shit was Jared Goff, it probably doesn't get posted. It's just strictly because Teddy Bridgewater like does not throw downfield. So
might be the gloves. I don't like when quarterbacks wear gloves. It might be just pet peeve of mine, but like, I don't know. You never see anything.
Kenny Pickett's going to be playing with gloves now.
I mean, is he? We don't know yet. We don't know. Well, we'll see.
He should.
We'll see. I feel like I can't remember a great quarterback playing with gloves.
Peyton played with gloves. After the injury, he played with gloves.
Okay.
I forget why. I watched so many Peyton. I think it had something to do with he was losing his arm strength and he just wanted to get more.
More grip. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, Peyton wore gloves towards the end of his career. I don't think he did in the beginning, but yeah, I get what you mean. But like Teddy Bridgewater has the famous story of he at his pro day, like he didn't wear gloves and that's the reason he fell to pick number 32. Like he put on a shit performance on his pro day because he just decided for the first time in his life not to wear gloves to play quarterback. So I don't know. Maybe it's a superstition thing.
Might be.
Yeah. Cause I don't think he has small hands. Like I've never heard anything about Teddy Bridgewater having small hands. So.
Kenny Pickett, small hand.
Yeah. So like Kenny Pickett, I think needs them. Kenny Pickett has like historically small hands. Like,
Kenny Pickett needs a little bit of an assist.
Yeah. A little bit.
So just looking at just the schedule one more before we move on.
Yeah.
The opening game of the season is maybe a Super Bowl preview and might be the most exciting matchup of the entire year. We're getting it week 1. That's going to be the Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Rams. We saw this last year. Yep. So it's kind of weird that, with the extra rule now where you play a cross conference team once a year, that's not in the division that you're already playing. Usually we wouldn't ever see this, seeing an AFC and NFC team play twice in 2 years, unless it's once is in the preseason. But this is an exciting game. And I legitimately think I'd probably put my bet on this is a Super Bowl preview at this point in time, because I think the Bills are finally ready. They've gone through so much heartbreak between the 2020 AFC Championship or 2020 AFC Championship, and then last year that crazy game in Kansas City once again. They've been through enough heartbreak. I think this Bills team is solid top to bottom. They went out and got Kyler Elam, who's going to be just a stud there besides Tre'Davious White. They really needed that number 2 cornerback because I can't remember. Why can't I remember his name? They had a guy there that just really never developed. Like, why am I blanking on his name?
Know who you're talking about.
Why can't
Darby?
Not Darby. Darby. Yeah, Darby was all right. Why can't I think of his name?
I know who you're talking about though.
I could pick. I literally know his face because I used him in Madden all the time.
Of course.
But all right, moving on. Whatever. I think this Bills team is really good. I think they're ready to take the next step. They finally, have everything in peace, and I think, have the best quarterback in football in Josh Allen. I've been saying that for a few months now. And I think a lot more people would be talking about that had the Bills beat the Chiefs in that playoff game.
Yeah. The Bills, I'm gonna make a Rangers reference because I have to, by the way, forcing game 6.
Yes.
We ain't done, Marcus Peters, we ain't done yet. I think we ain't done yet. But yeah, so the way the Rangers hadn't won a Stanley Cup for 54 years. They were the They were the laughing stock of the original 6 teams because they had like so many less Stanley Cups than every other original 6 team. I've been in the league just as long, one of the oldest teams ever. So they went 54 years without winning a Stanley Cup. 1994, when they finally did win the Stanley Cup, they went to a 7-game series with New Jersey in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were down 3-2 in that series, had to claw their way back to win that series. Then they go to the Stanley Cup up 3-1, blow a 3-1 lead, and had to win in an excruciating Game 7 that came down to the very last second. And they finally lifted the curse, and they just lifted the monkeys off their back. There have been so many talks about the curse of Madison Square Garden and stuff like that. Finally lifted it up. That's how the Bills are going to win. If the Bills ever win a Super Bowl, there's just some teams that like, that's how it's going to happen. Like, it's going to be the most excruciating experience. It's going to rip your heart out tenfold. It's going to take 50 years off your life. Like, it is going to be.
I'd hope not.
Yeah, I know.
I'd hope not.
It's so funny when the Rangers finally won the Stanley Cup. There's a famous sign that said, "I could finally die in peace." I think that's kind of how Bills fans are probably going to feel.
Yeah.
There's just some teams that are like that. That like if they ever do win, that's how they have to win. It's just written in the stars. It's gotta just take everything out of that fan base, out of that team for them to win. That's what's going to happen to the Bills. The Bills have been through it all the past few years. They have gotten their heart broken time and time again, especially last year when we all pretty much have a feeling they probably would have scored if given another possession and overtime kept the game going. But Josh Allen just looks so good last year. He does. That team. I mean, Gabe Davis had a coming out party in that playoff game. 4 touchdowns, like a million yards.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a coming out party, but to do it on the biggest stage in all of football, like that says a lot. And the Bills are ready, man. Like, they're so ready. They're exciting.
Buffalo, they added Von Miller.
Yeah, Buffalo deserves this. I'm pretty sure the entire Buffalo may be like the only fan base, like aside from AFC East, like fan base is like the only fan base that the entire NFL doesn't hate. Like it's like Buffalo like is beloved.
They're great. They're really great.
They're so easy to root for as a fan base, as a team. Josh Allen just meshes so well with that city. He represents that city so well.
Yep.
They deserve a Super Bowl. They have since the 90s, and we're all rooting for them. They deserve it. And I think it's coming. I can feel it. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be the same without Tyreek Hill.
I don't either.
A large reason.
Yeah. And their division is just crazy now.
Yep. And like, I think the AFC is in a situation where they're just going to beat each other up. But like the Bills, the Chargers are a little too inexperienced. I would say that's the next most talented team on paper right now.
Yeah.
But the Bills have the most experience now. They've been to the playoffs a few years now. Josh Allen's been there, done that. And he's been to an AFC champion. No, has he been to an AFC? He has been to an AFC championship game. Yep. Yeah. He's been through the ringer. He's been through heartbreak. They've got the experience. They're veterans in the playoffs now. This is the year to do it. Like, this is the year to do it. And so going off your point, what we were originally talking about, this is a Super Bowl preview. I could definitely see that. NFC, you could talk about the Bucks. You could talk about the Packers. Packers are kind of working themselves out of that conversation with their play the last few years. But it's going to be a great game. I love when they do shit like this for the first game of the season, when they put a matchup like this. I'm reminiscent of, Chiefs Patriots a couple years back when Kareem Hunt's coming out party. And then you had the one that disappointed me the most was Broncos Panthers was the first game of the season after that Super Bowl.
That was lame. That was the ice the kicker. Did they ice Graham? Was it Graham Gano or was it I think it was Graham Gano.
I think it was Graham Gano. Yeah, that game sucked.
Oh, and the Chiefs Texans game sucked too.
Chiefs Texans
in 2020. That one was bad.
Yep.
Well, that was also the first game with no fans, and it was just a weird vibe overall. Yeah.
Did it suck though? All I remember is Clyde Edwards-Helaire having kind of a coming out party in that game.
No, I'm pretty positive I did not enjoy that game.
Yeah.
I think it was like want to say it was like 34-20 or something. Let me see if I got that like right on, because I have a good feeling about that.
I think you nailed that, actually.
It's gonna be like so wrong. I love it. 34-20.
Did you? Oh my God.
34-20.
Damn.
Look at that. So that was a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, these two teams are really intriguing. They're probably the best in their conferences right now. And it's just like, this is just side note, but like, it's kind of crazy how quickly, I don't want to say it's closed, but like how quickly the NFL reacted to the Chiefs, like being that next dynasty, because they had everything after that Super Bowl run. And you could tell just from Pat Mahomes' not rookie season, but the first season that he started, like 50 touchdowns, the whole NFL was put on notice. And now the entire AFC West is reloaded. The entire AFC really is pretty solid. And, it's not a one team runs this bitch anymore type league like it was with the Patriots. So there's a lot of competition.
Yeah. And I think with looking back on what we thought was going to be a dynasty with the Chiefs, like I get the offense, like hindsight's 2020, the offense was generational. It was something we've never seen before. It was so high paced. So like every player was pretty much unstoppable, led by an unstoppable, super young quarterback.
Yep.
Who might very well end his career as the greatest quarterback of all time. But they were a potential dynasty built on a defense that got hot. Like it wasn't a solid, consistent defense. Like it was a defense that had good players, but like they got hot at the right time and it complemented the offense and they just dominated that playoff run.
Yeah.
The defense, like looking back on it, was never sustainable. It was very hot and cold. It was a very streaky defense that needed it. Like, just like we saw this year, the Chiefs sucked the first couple of weeks. Why? Because their defense was terrible. Then their defense got hot and they were one of the best teams in football game. Like, they just never had the defense to sustain that dynasty, which sucks because it cheated us. I mean, they've still been getting the AFC Championship games and Super Bowls without that defense, being all that, which says something. But I hope they can get that defense figured out. But that dynasty, I don't really think, looking back on it, that it ever was going to be a dynasty. I don't think it ever could have been, because it's hard to create a dynasty purely on offense.
I think that's fair. And to your point, like the past 2 years, especially, we've seen that the teams with the elite defenses, with the teams, going up against teams like the Chiefs and then the Bengals this past year, like who had great offenses, not so much going on defense. They have great pieces, but like as a unit, they're not the best. Those, the teams with the better defenses are going on top. You saw with the Bucks in 2021 and the Rams this year. So maybe that's the formula moving forward is, I mean, it's always been defense wins championships, but we've seen some great offensive teams in the offensive league past couple of years.
That Packers team that won the Super Bowl, like they had a great defense.
Yep.
It's just it's most of the time that's what happens. That's why the Seahawks, like, they had a sustainable formula there, because like they had an unreal young like that defense was young when they won the Super Bowl. Like most of them were on rookie contracts. And they all got second contracts, every single one of them. And they had two players that they relied on offense. That's it. That's all they had to rely on, which is Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson. That's it.
And they beat the best, up until, just recently, but the best offensive team we've ever seen in the 2013 Broncos.
Yep.
It was literally the best offense versus the best defense, which is how Super Bowl should be. Like, that should be what I want to see.
That's fun.
I want to see the best of the best going up against the best of the best. And that's what we got then. I was like, I remember that one. Yeah. Why am I so? I think
most people remember once you think about the safety to start the game.
The safety right off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Percy Harvin kick return.
Return. Jermaine Kearse had a really cool spinning catch. Like he got hit, spun out of like two tackles and scored.
The next Super Bowl I like to forget about, because Packers should have been in that one, but that's nor here nor there. So I guess to kind of just wrap this episode up, we talked about the NBA real quick.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic wins his back-to-back MVP. And
Yeah.
a lot has been talked about and discussed this past week that Nikola Jokic just doesn't feel like a back-to-back MVP because these back-to-back MVPs are reserved for the best of the best. You know, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo. We had Shaq. We had, LeBron all these years. So many great players. And then Nikola Jokic, while I understand that he may not be in that conversation just yet, I still understand that Nikola Jokic is a unicorn of an NBA player, somebody that we've never seen anything like. We can't really compare anybody to.
Yeah.
Because he's a point center. And he's also just carrying his team with nobody else around. And, much to my chagrin, because I would have liked to see Joel Embiid win the MVP just because of some prior bets that I made, by the way. See you in Cancun, Joel Embiid, with your broken ass face. I had to get that in there.
Nice.
Kyle Lowry just taking one for even though he didn't play, just the Toronto blood in him still. Miami Heat go over the Sixers. But what do you think of the MVP? I guess Giannis was in there as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Nikola Jokic deserved this one? What do you think?
It's hard to say that he didn't.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I wanted to see Embiid get the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to see Embiid get it. I know you have strong feelings toward Embiid.
Yes.
But it would be a shame if he went his entire career and didn't win an MVP. Like that would be a shame. It's kind of like the same way it was a shame for Drew Brees. But it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's Nikola Jokic. Like it's not like it's like when Aaron Donald wins Defensive Player of the Year. Like you're like, shit, I want to see another guy win it, but I get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those feelings. It's like the MVP going Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. Like it's just not. It's not what you want to see, but you get it. Like you can't be like, oh, he didn't deserve it. It's like, no, he absolutely deserved it.
I actually think that comparison, like between Aaron Rodgers and Nikola Jokic both winning MVP this year, it's kind of the same thing because you look at it. Aaron Rodgers didn't have his best season, by far. But why did he win it? Because of touchdown interception ratio. Because there were some other underlying factors like Tom Brady getting shut out towards the end of the season. But realistically, Tom Brady, in my opinion, just looking straight at the paper, straight at the stats, like he had better stats. He had more yards, he had more touchdowns, and he was more explosive throughout the season. And you could kind of, Cooper Kupp as well. but you could kind of look at that, like Joel Embiid had better numbers. I mean, better numbers. He was the scoring champion, first scoring title for center since Shaq did it in 2000, I believe, which is a long time ago.
I'm actually surprised Jokic hasn't done that though.
Well, Jokic is more of like a facilitator,
more of a playmaker. Yeah.
He still averaged 26.
He could do it though. He could. I
think so.
Yeah.
And I think Joel just averaged 30.1 or something like that. Just over 30. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna say he didn't deserve it by any means, because you can't say that. He had the highest PER in NBA history for you advanced stats nerds. And if Joel Embiid played more throughout the season, maybe he would have won it. Maybe we would have seen a little bit more out of him. I think if the Sixers had a 1 seed, I feel like it would have been going.
Do you think that trade for James Harden, do you think they would have done better in the playoffs if they had those depth players that they traded away for Harden?
Probably not, because if you look at it, Joel Embiid got hurt, so he's he missed a game in the series. He wasn't really the same. Last game, James Harden actually saved him. He put up 31 and had like a James Harden type game, which is what we should be getting out of him. But I just think it's James Harden at this point in his career you can't trust. But he's better than Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons was never going to play for them again.
Can't trust him either.
Yeah. And I would just like to say, before we wrap up this episode, Doc Rivers had some words in this post-game presser, just getting defensive over, the team. And he said something about the Sixers not even being expected to be here. He's completely right, because we were expecting the Sixers to have a better season than they had this year. Because they have the coach, they have the players to take that next step. Joel Embiid has emerged as one of the best players in just the NBA, and Doc Rivers consistently comes up short in the playoffs, and really has rode his one championship with the Celtics on a 20-year journey of being regarded as one of the best NBA coaches in the league. I'm not going to say that he's not, but it's just questionable when Lakers fans are talking about, hey, we might get Doc Rivers next year. Maybe that's a sign that like Doc Rivers isn't as crazy as we think he is, because he's going to different teams every year, seemingly now. I mean, he was with the Clippers for a long time, but I just want to get that off my chest. I needed to end this with some Sixers shade.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like, I'm starting to pay more attention as we get closer to the finals to what's going on in basketball. A lot of storylines are coming out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Philly. All right, let's end it with this. Do you think Joel Embiid will win us championship by the end of his career?
By the end of his career? I'd say so. And if it's not on the Sixers, then somebody's going to, because we're going into a big man league now where the big men are taking over all the fives and fours. But I'd say so. If he's one of the best at his position and we're going into an era where the big man takes over, I feel like he has to.
Yeah. And he doesn't strike me as somebody that's going to leave Philly either. Like he seems like a very loyal guy. Maybe towards the end of his career, he would like a Matthew Stafford kind of thing where it's like, all right, if it's not working out here, I guess I can't even compare it to Russ because Russ won a championship, but maybe like a Matt Ryan type of thing would be a better situation because at least they were competitive. But yeah, I think he gets one. Doc, I don't know what it is about Doc. Like I like Doc. I don't understand why he can't. Like ever since 2008, he can't fucking do anything. I don't get it.
I want to see Doc Rivers on the Lakers just because that would create so much turmoil when the Lakers suck next year.
Shit show.
My goodness.
I gotta say though, Jeannie Buss, one of the best owners in all of sports, like she just came out and flat out said what we were all thinking. She's like, no, this is unacceptable. And I'm going to make changes if this shit doesn't get fixed. Like that takes balls. Yeah. Like, and like to say that shit with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, like all these enormous personalities on your team. And you're like, no, I'm going to make fucking changes if we don't right this ship. Yeah. And something tells me she's not above. Like, I know she has a relationship with LeBron and she likes LeBron, whatever. Something tells me she's not above being like, LeBron, start shopping. Because
pack your bags, LeBron.
Yeah. Like you like I think she would obviously grant him like like, tell me where you want to be traded. We'll trade you there. But like, I don't think she's above telling LeBron, hey, we're probably gonna trade you. Like this isn't working. Like we're gonna call it. So good for her. Good for her. Jeannie Buss, always been a terrific owner. Shout out to her. And it's a shame what she's going through. At least they got a chip. Like at least they got a chip out of it. Yeah. Mickey Mouse. But
Mickey Mouse. Before we wrap, I feel like I said that 3 times. I saw a trade rumor the other day, or not a trade rumor, just like a potential trade. It's like a 3-team. Somehow the Knicks ended up with Westbrook and like 2 first-round picks. Yep. And they got off Julius Randle and someone else.
Okay, but like if we offload, all right, that's those 2 first-round picks are intriguing, but like if we offload Julius Randle but pick up Russell Westbrook, we're creating the same issue. And I think I would rather have.
And you're getting a worse player.
Yeah, I think I would rather have Julius Randle because at least I know Julius Randle like can give me 40. Like Julius Randle can give me 40 right now. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I know he will. Like next year, Julius Randle will have a 40-point game.
Book it. One Julius Randle 40-point game in a 20-point blowout for the Knicks.
Yeah, there will be one. I don't know when it's gonna happen. But Russ is so far past his prime, and it sucks. It sucks that he's not the player he once was. And it sucks that like Russ is getting thrown around like this because he's. I feel like he's gonna end his career. Like he's gotten to the point where it leaves a bad taste in everybody. Like imagine 5 years ago being disappointed that you got Russell Westbrook on your team. Unfathomable.
Best player, yeah.
The energy he brought, like
walking
the
triple-double,
excitement, highlights.
Yeah, the triple-double has kind of died down, especially this year
because we got used to it. But that's like we just got used to like Russ having 8 and like 60 triple-doubles in a season. Yeah. That's unheard of. Averaging. Like Russ is doing all this shit and he's just making it normal. And
That's not enough because no. What does it mean in the playoffs? Are you giving me triple doubles in the playoffs, or are you losing?
Yeah, so. Which is the more important question.
Yeah.
And now it sucks that for the rest of his career, it seems like everybody's gonna have a bad taste in their mouth when he gets traded to their teams or he signs with their team. Mm-hmm. I hope he signs with a lesser team right now and just for a lesser contract and just balls out. Like, dude.
I mean, he kind of, not for a lesser contract, but he kind of did that in Washington.
He did.
Brought them to the playoffs. I didn't think him and Bradley Beal were too bad of a duo.
I liked him in Washington. I thought that was a good situation for him there. I could, maybe not, but like if he goes to like an Indiana, like I think that could be a good spot for him. Like Russ, like you've done just conserve your legacy. You're probably like, if you get a chip, great. Don't go ring chasing. It's not working out for you. It sucks. It's not, but it's just not working out. Conserve your legacy. I just don't want, 5 years to go by and 5-6 years, Russell Westbrook finally retires. And the last 10 years of his career was people not wanting him on their team because he just was so ball dominant and like the team had to run through him and it was just not a championship formula. Like, I don't want that to be the narrative around Russell Westbrook. I want people to remember the Basketball Hall of Fame is so easy to get into. So he's going to get into it. But
I'll get in. Yeah, we'll get into it. You and I.
We'll get into it. If we, seriously. But like, I don't want people to have that, taste in their mouth from Russell Westbrook. I want them to remember like the triple doubles, the 2016, like the energy he brought, what he did,
athletic, winning the MVP after Kevin Durant leaves.
Yeah, like I want that to be the legacy he has. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's got plenty of years left. I mean,
he does.
The guy's athletic. I mean, maybe he's lost a step, but still one of the most athletic guys.
Oh my God, at Russell Westbrook losing a step is still one of the most athletic people in NBA history.
Yeah. I mean, he just plays with such a fire under him.
Like,
always giving 100% effort all the time. It's never anything less than that.
Yep. Like if I was a kid playing, like if my kid plays basketball when I'm older, like I'm showing him Russell Westbrook. I'm like, that's how you hustle. Like that. You want to know how to hustle right there. That guy.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Like
show him Julius Randle's 40-point game from 2022 season.
I would not. Julius Randle was that kind of guy though. He was this year. He just looked he did not want to be here. Like he knows he knows RJ. Obi Toppin started out playing him. He did. Obi is knocking on the door now. Like we've all seen it. Like we were waiting for it from Obi Toppin. So Julius Randle had his time to shine. It's kind of past. Like we're kind of over it. Like you need to accept your role that you're going to be the older mentor who can put up 20 in a game. You're not going to put up 35 like you were the other year. But if you can just kind of accept that like 18-point, 20-point veteran role, mentoring the young guys, like we love you. Like we're going to love you, Julius. But he's pissing me off. He was pissing me off. He was
pissing me off. So I guess I'll just end the episode, which is a hot take. Yeah. Not only is Ja Morant better than Zion Williamson from that 2019 draft, RJ Barrett is starting to get in that conversation as well. I'd say
love it.
I know Zion's been dealing with injuries and some health issues, but listen, I don't know. I don't think he deserved it because he had that all-star start. He was a starter in the all-star game that 2020 season going into 2021. No, it's 2021, but
he deserved that. He did.
I don't know. I don't see it in Zion Williamson. I really don't. I don't think he's built for the long haul, especially not in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to see him on the court.
I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
If today Zion Williamson was traded to the Toronto Raptors, knowing what Toronto would have to give up to get him, would you be happy with that?
No.
But like 2 years ago, does your answer change?
I mean, of course, because Zion was the next LeBron James. He was the next Shaquille O'Neal. But now we've seen, those injuries start to catch up with him because he's just that dominant, I would say, or that. What happened? I'm like following the Yankee game on my phone. It was just 9-7. Now it's 14-7. I looked back. Yanks up. I saw Stanton get the overrated
monster.
Chance.
He knocks back-to-back home runs. Like,
love it. Yankees best team in baseball right now.
Best team in baseball right now. One of their best starts ever, like in the history of the New York Yankees. Like this is great wild. Stuff. Did not see this coming.
That is great stuff. So I guess that is the end of episode 80 of the Totally Unqualified Podcast. Again, we miss you, Gage. I hope you heal from your ligma.
He was here in spirit. He's
always here in spirit. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to leave us a rating and review. It would help us out greatly and gauge what we're doing well and what we're not. So I'll leave it to you, Jake. You got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, guys, make sure to go follow us on all of our social medias, including YouTube. We do post clips there. Subscribe, post notification bell on, hit that like button, comment. Go follow us on all of our socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Oh, yeah. Just all that good stuff. Follow me, Luke, Gage, all on our socials as well. Sped too. Shout out Sped. He does so much of the work behind the scenes. Can't say enough good things about Sped. Oh, yeah. I'm Jake Maltese 3. Luke is, of course, Football Fan Zone, Gage Extra Points, Sped, L Sped with 2 Ds. That's the crew we got here. Maybe it's expanding. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We'll see. Oh, was that a little teaser?
Never know.
Was that a little teaser right there?
Might be. Totally Unqualified teaser. Teaser. Big plans in the works here at the TU Industries, I guess you could say. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.